Welcome back to the channel and to the first NFL video of the season. It is finally time for week one. Boy, we could not be more excited over here at the Guy Boston Sports Channel. I couldn't be more excited to get ready to talk about some football for the next 21 weeks. Let's go, man. Let's go. Favorite time of the year, guys. You can see I'm ready, man. Got the orange and black on. I'm so ready to hop over there to Paycor Stadium and watch my Bengals for week one. But before we do that, we got to get over some picks, man. We got to talk about this here. I've got 6 picks that I like going into week one. 2 of those are going to be combined as a parlay. The other one I'm going to split a unit between 6 picks altogether. And we're not going to waste any more time. We've waited long enough. Let's dive right into it. Our first pick is going to be that parlay that I just spoke of. It's going to be for the Packers and the Eagles. They're going to be playing on Friday night in Brazil at 8:15. I'm going to be looking at the Packers with an alternate line of +4.5 and then an alternate under 49.5. We combine these together, we're looking at +186 odds on DraftKings. Gotta love it, right? Nice way to start this off here. The Eagles, man, they started last season hot, 10-1, before crumbling down the stretch. They went just 1-5 over their last 6. They lost in blowout fashion even in 3 of those 6 losses. And then the season ended with a 32-9 beatdown from Tampa and a lot of question marks, right? Packers, man, they were on the opposite end of the field, no pun intended, starting the season 2-5 before finishing 7-3, sneaking into the playoffs, and then they upset the Cowboys in Dallas 48-32, before ultimately falling to San Francisco by 3 after leading for the majority of that second half. And what did the 49ers do, man? They went on to the Super Bowl, so not a bad team over here in Green Bay by any means. But both of these teams, man, they come in with a ton of hope on the year. They're both looking to make a push for the Lombardi. The Eagles made one of the biggest splashes in the offseason. They signed Saquon Barkley. And his addition to an offense featuring the likes of A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Hurts at quarterback has the potential to be downright scary. But the loss of Jason Kelce, man, that cannot be undermined, however. And Philly's rolling out brand new schemes on both sides of the ball with a new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and then defensive guru, Vic Fangio, taking over the defense. So yeah, new systems on both sides of the ball here for Philadelphia. They brought in Bryce Huff from the Jets, brought back C.J. Gardner-Johnson after watching their back end just collapse last season. They drafted Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell as well to help solidify that secondary even further. They remain weak at linebacker, however, and I expect this to be a problem against Green Bay. We got Josh Jacobs now in green and yellow, right? Jacobs went for over 1,600 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns last season behind the Raiders' offensive line, and I expect him to have a similar, if not more, success here in Green Bay with a better line and better QB play as well. Vic Fangio he's never really been big on bringing in help to stop the run either, so I expect the Packers to kind of eat on the ground in this one here. Packers addressed their biggest weakness in the offseason, shoring up their secondary in free agency with the market's best safety, Xavier McKinney. They also brought in Jeff Hafley to take over this defense, who plans to run a more aggressive defense than his predecessor of a year ago, who ran a zone-heavy drop-back style D. The Eagles, man, they have to work through the kinks on both sides of the ball with 2 new systems in play, while the Packers have Matt LaFleur with, another year of experience as an established and proven play caller. Green Bay, they were 8-4 to the number as underdogs last year as well. Philly, 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 as favorites. Also, just looking at these 2 head-to-head, the Packers are 6-3 straight up over the Eagles in their last 9 as well. So I get expecting fireworks on both sides of the ball with the talent of these offenses. But I think the defenses dictate this one more so. And looking at these 2 head-to-head over their last 15 games, the under has hit 11 times out of those 15. So I like our chances for the under here, especially buying a point up, right, to 49.5. I mean, like I said, with Green Bay, I like our chances there, +4.5 points, man. We just need them to lose by a field goal or less, or just win this one outright for us, man, which I think they have a great chance of doing. So the next 2 picks that I'm looking at, they're going to be those half-unit plays that I talked about. We're looking at some anytime touchdowns with my Cincinnati Bengals, man. We got Jamar Chase, and I'm looking at it for an anytime touchdown. We can get that at +105 odds right now on Bet365. We're looking at Mike Gesicki. We can catch him at +275. So look, full disclosure, obviously, I'm a huge Bengals fan. There could definitely be some bias here, and then in any future videos we do where I have a pick involved in Cincinnati, but I'm also realistic. I like to think anyways. And I'm invested more in the Bengals, obviously, than any other team in the league. I spend more time diving deeper into them. than any of these teams in the NFL. They are my favorite team, obviously, and I enjoy digging into it and just finding more and more things about this squad, even more so than just from a betting standpoint. So all that to say, you know, yeah, there might be some bias, but I also like to think that I have a pretty good feel for this team as well. But again, just want to be transparent on where I stand because it's a big who day all day around here, guys. All day. But with that said, man, these plays here are in no way a jab at the Patriots D because despite recent struggles, man, that side of the ball hasn't been bad by any means. They're top 5 in rushing defense, 11th in passing defense. These plays here, these anytime touchdown plays for Jamar Chase and Mike Gesicki, it's more so Burrow returning to action for the first time since Week 11 of last year. It's going to be in a packed Paycor Stadium in front of a Cincinnati fan base that got a small taste of success a couple years ago, right? Um, and that was put on hold last year, like in Week 11. So we've just been kind of waiting ever since, ready to get back to it. And my point is that this stadium is going to be rocking. And this version of the Bengals, man, they thrive in that kind of energy. So I like Burrow, man, coming back. Like I said, for the first time since Week 11. Look, the way to throw him off of his game is simple, and it has been throughout his time in Cincinnati so far. If you can get consistent pressure on him, then you got a chance. You know, he's not going to beat himself often. He's not going to make a bonehead decision or throw inaccurate passes often. What he is going to do, though, is hold on to the ball when the pressure comes, and he's going to try to extend the play, and he has done so to this point in his career, for better or for worse. Luckily for us, it has been for better most of the time, but man, it does bite him in the ass sometimes for sure. With all that said, the Patriots last year, though, they ranked 5th in QB hurries, but just 29th in QB hits and 27th in sacks. The Bengals have once again made a ton of moves on the line, and although rookie Amarius Mims is already out for several weeks with a pec strain, this is the luck of the draw as a Cincinnati fan. Former Patriot Trent Brown was brought in to start at right tackle, making the Bengals just huge at the tackle positions, right? We got Orlando Brown Jr. on one side and Trent on the other, both of them standing at 6'8". So I like our chances of finally being able to protect Burrow. Man, I've got some wood here on the desk. I'm not sure if the mic's picking that up, but I'm knocking hard, man. I'm knocking hard. Right? But anyways, I like Burrow to find the end zone here at least once, but I feel like it's more likely to be 2-3 times, right? So then who's he finding? Right? I think it's obvious to look at Chase in this spot, man. With all the noise about contracts in the offseason and knowing these guys the way I do, man, watching them so closely through their time in Cincinnati, I feel like Jamar's going to come out here and put on a show, man. He's always talking, right? But, like, you notice how he hasn't said much about this contract thing? So I think he knows, man. He'll come out and he's going to show from the jump that he's worth every penny. You know, this isn't one of those moments where he's going to come off the mouth talking. He's going to come out and show you, like, no, I'm the top paid wide receiver. I deserve that. So definitely think that he comes out gunning for it all, right? And for those screaming, he hasn't practiced. He's not going to be ready. I'm not buying it, man. I'm not. He's been training privately still. And him and Burrow, they simply just like don't need time to build chemistry. It's built in. It's a beautiful thing as a Bengal fan watching these two. They developed this back at LSU, and then they just came right into the league with that chemistry that you see from a quarterback and wide receiver that's been playing together for years. Typically in the NFL, they got to build up to that. You know, Chase came in as a rookie, Burrow in his second season. Boom, we already got that chemistry. But Burrow, man, he's hit Chase for a touchdown in 2 of the 3 season openers that they played together. And that one that they didn't connect, that was last year in Cleveland, where the Bengals have just struggled as it is over the last few years. And also Burrow was dealing with that pesky calf strain at the time. That in retrospect, man, he should not have been playing through. It severely impacted his ability and his performance. His accuracy was way off. So no surprise that they weren't able to find each other in that one. We didn't even find the end zone in that one. I think we scored 3 points in that game. So, like I said, 2 of the 3 games, season openers, Chase has found his way to the end zone. And I like looking at the newly signed Mike Gesicki as well. Burrow really utilizes tight ends well. The proof is in the pudding, man. Year after year, he's taken journeyman tight ends and below average tight ends, and he's made them look average and at times above average even, right? CJ Uzama, Hayden Hurst, they both had stellar seasons while with Burrow, and then they fell off after leaving, right? Tanner Hudson, he couldn't latch on anywhere with any team for several years, and he had moments last year with Cincinnati when Burrow was playing, and Burrow took a liking to him, right? Joe has never had a tight end with the ability in the hands of Gesicki, though. If we find Cincinnati in the red zone, definitely see Burrow look in his direction, and Also, he's a former Patriot, man. So the combo of his debut with the Bengals, playing his old team that honestly did not utilize him properly and to his strengths, and that should give him a little extra motivation as well. So I like those two there. Those are the plays that I'm going to be rolling with for anytime touchdowns. And then this next one is going to pay me a little bit to go over, but hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to bet for the teams that you just can't stand, right? Sometimes it's about the money, right? We like to make money around here. So we're going to bet smart, man. We're not going to bet with our hearts. We're going to bet with our brains here. So I'm looking at the Steelers +3 versus the Falcons. Now, both of these teams enter the season rolling out new starting quarterbacks and new offensive coordinators. Kirk Cousins will make his debut for Atlanta, along with first-year offensive coordinator Zach Robinson. Falcons are actually rolling out an entirely new coaching staff with new defensive coordinator Jimmy Lake and newly hired head coach Raheem Morris as well. Steelers are going to start the year with Russell Wilson at quarterback and Justin Fields as his backup after trading away Kenny Pickett. Last year's head coach of the Falcons, Arthur Smith, will now be the new offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, who's returning two-year defensive coordinator Terrell Austin, and of course, head coach Mike Tomlin, entering his 18th season as head coach with no losing seasons to date. Man, it must be nice to be a Steeler fan. But Pittsburgh has opened the season on the road in 8 of their last 9 seasons, winning the previous 3 in a row, going 5-2-1 over that time. The Falcons, they're just 3-6 in their last 9 season openers, playing the last 4 of those at home and going just 1-3. Now, look, there's going to be struggles for both of these offenses adjusting to new systems while working their way through the kinks, but Pittsburgh's defense should be able to counter the run game of Atlanta. They've definitely got a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, but Pittsburgh can say the same for their defense, right? And each of these teams, looking at each of the team's offensive and defensive units, if we're looking at all 4 of those, I'm going to trust Pittsburgh's defense over the other 3 units any day of the week, man. They're loaded with run stoppers up front, with Hayward and Benton leading the charge. They got Roberts and newly acquired Patrick Queen. They're both ball hawks at the linebacker position. And then they added rookie Peyton Wilson as well. So this front 7 looks tough, man. And then they got corners Joey Porter, Dante Jackson. They're both solid. Then the return of Minkah Fitzpatrick, man, he's going to be fully healthy again. It's only going to help bolster that secondary further. So I see a low-scoring affair here with the Steelers' defense leading them to the cover and really a potential outright victory, in my opinion. Guys, before we move on to the next pick, I did want to talk about this deal that DraftKings is offering to new customers right now. If you are not signed up with DraftKings, make sure you look down into our description. And then in the pinned comment as well, I'm going to throw it right at the top of that pinned comment. There's going to be a link that you can click into, and you will be able to sign up for DraftKings and then bet $5, right? Just put a $5 bet on anything. And you are going to automatically get $250 in bonus bets instantly. A lot of times these sports books, they'll give these little promos out right when you're a new customer. But a lot of times it's like, wait for that bet to settle, right? You got to put your bet in, you got to wait. And then once that bet settles, then you get your bonus bets, right? Nah, not here, man. Not right now, not today. Bet $5, like I said, you get that $250 instantly in bonus bets. Man, I wish I wasn't with DraftKings already, because what a sweet deal. But look, guys, it gets sweeter. It gets sweeter. You get 1 month free of NFL Premium as well, which is going to give you access to NFL Red Zone, and then NFL Network as well. So a month free trial of that, along with $250 worth of bonus bets, and all you have to do is place one $5 bet. What a sweet deal, man. Like I said, I wish I wasn't with DraftKings already. Because it's a hell of a deal, man. So make sure you guys look into the description. If you can't find it there, it's going to be right at the top of the pinned comment. There's going to be a link that you can click into to get access to this right here. And you don't want to miss out, man. If you're not part of DraftKings already, make sure you sign up and get in on that action right there and all that they're offering right now. And then the last pick that I'm looking at, man, is going to be the Broncos and the Seahawks. I'm looking at the Broncos in the first half plus the 3 points. Now, Denver, they have a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. But he's a 24-year-old rookie, and he started the most games ever for a college quarterback. He fits in perfectly with Sean Payton's system of quick decision-making and accuracy. Look, he's no Drew Brees, but he's got the experience to help out from the beginning. Seattle doesn't have a very good defensive line on paper, and that should help Bo, his decision-making being under less pressure. So he's got a lot of vets around him. It's year 2 for Sean Payton as coach, which, that's huge for a coach, right? To get that first season under their belt, not as many adjustments needed moving into year two. Seattle, meanwhile, has a whole new system in place, and there might be a slump for them to start the season for their offense, and they'll be up against a Denver defense that's had its struggles last year. But the signings of John Franklin Myers, the Malcolm Roach, that should help shore up a defensive line that struggled against the run. The front seven in general looks, at least on paper, like they should see improvements across the board, bringing back their core linebacker while also adding the promising rookie Jonah Ellis to the mix. Seattle, on the other hand, they have a very young, unproven offensive line, and they've had their share of injury issues as well. So you got to like the addition of Tomlinson at guard for them, but can we expect them to hold up over the course of 60 minutes with a quarterback under center who lacks mobility, and then a new offensive coordinator and a new head coach? Look, and then in that respect, too, the entire Seattle coaching staff is new, down to assistants as well. So we got to keep that in mind when looking at this one here. But if we look at Denver, man, their secondary looks like it could be the weakest link, right? The right side definitely has question marks, and we'll see teams try to exploit that side of the field often for sure. But on the left side, we got Patrick Surtain II. Could very well have an argument for the best corner in the league. And he's going to be tasked with shutting down DK Metcalf. Not an easy task by any means, but he's the man you would want on the job, man, for sure. So with the Seahawks rolling out a new system and the Broncos in year two under Joseph on defense and year two under head coach Sean Payton, I like them to keep this one close early at least. Oh, while while Seattle works through the kinks. See, I've got Cincinnati on the mind, man. I'm ready. Let's go. So that's going to be it, guys. Like I said, man, those are the 6 picks for today. I'll list those down in the pinned comment for us as well. That way you guys can reference back to it. But best of luck, guys, man. I hope we all have a great first week one. Now, guys, if you liked the video today, if you found it helpful or useful in any kind of way, please do not forget to smash the like button down below and hit subscribe if you have not already. We're going to keep coming with this NFL content all year long for you, along with the WNBA and the MLB while those seasons are still running, obviously. So a whole lot of action coming your guys' way here in the next few months. And then, like I said, throughout the course of the NFL season. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. That way you're not missing out on any of it. And that's going to do it, man. Like I said, best of luck. I hope we have a great week one. Let's cash. Hopefully we see a Bengals victory. Sorry, Ev. Sorry, Tassos. But who day, man? I hope we have a great one. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next video.